We'll dive into how hybrid children are guiding us toward a future free from money-based systems, moving us into a world built on equitable, energy-based exchanges. Imagine a society where clean, renewable energy is abundant and accessible, and goods and services are exchanged through meaningful contributions and shared values rather than cash. These beings are quietly transforming how we perceive resources, helping us awaken to our interconnectedness with each other and the universe. Join us as we explore the shift to this groundbreaking new paradigm, guided by the next generation of cosmic change makers. As a level 2 quantum healing hypnotherapist, Naomi has developed a unique modality known as hypno-channeling. When a person is being hypnotized, they connect with their subconscious, which holds all knowledge and universal memory. When Naomi invites or summons spirits or energies, they come through the channeler's body naturally, without any prior conscious knowledge of that person. Using this method, any secrets of the universe can be revealed. If you have any paranormal or near-death experiences and would like to know the truth behind them, contact us through healingandretreats.com.
I'm sensing that the hybrid children are living now on Earth in New York City. I mean, they're living in various parts of the city. They have kind of special pods almost where they live, and they have different agendas, different missions, different jobs. Not everybody doing one thing, but mainly they're helping people transition. Energy is number one. Clean energy. Well, it doesn't require fossil fuels or anything like that. It's completely renewable. It's about just properly harnessing the energetic properties of the universe, not solar as we understand it.
So if you can just tell me something that we can understand.
It's rooted ultimately in consciousness. It's understanding that consciousness is the foundation of reality. And when you understand that, you can harness its energetic properties and move.
Energetic prop, what are
they? Everything at its fundamental level, everything that's physical is made of energy.
So meaning when you move your conscious awareness, so let's say you fall.
Right, but it's not quite that simple, but that's maybe the most basic way to put it. It's about training your consciousness to be able to manipulate matter.
Manipulate and how to make it the energy to become matter. What happens? Is it something that we use on our mind?
Both, but it's primarily mental in your mind.
So when that energy becomes matter, what happens? What do we can do?
When you learn, again, this is just the sense that I'm giving. Not giving a full detailed map. It's just, the idea is that consciousness being the foundation of the universe, consciousness being primary to matter, you are able to. It's not about creating as much as it is about understanding how energy changes form. So all that's happening is that you're using your conscious awareness to direct energy in particular ways. So things can materialize, dematerialize, you can change locations, and you can do those things without needing gasoline or something like that. Well, that's what they're teaching us how to do. They're teaching us how the universe works so that we can start doing that, because that's going to completely change our energy system, telepathically primarily.
So when we learn what is like when we're in a space, some sort of classroom.
Some people are in classrooms. I mean, it's kind of flexible. It's not like right now where you're in a school building or something like that. There's various physical locations where you can learn about it, but also they're capable of, if you want to, you can just tap in from your own home telepathically, pretty much, yeah.
So anyone can learn this?
They're directing right now their energies towards the people who are in making, decisions about energy and whatnot. That's kind of where it's directed right now, but that's not exclusive. They want basically, eventually everybody's going to learn it. I mean, the government is going to have to fundamentally shift, but they're not going to disappear completely. And there's going to be certain members of the government who are awakened and who are involved in the hybrid project are going to be taking leadership roles. It's going to be just a select few. They're going to a lot of resistance. Some are actually going to just transition into a different timeline. But, some are going to still be in this timeline, but they're going to gradually lose their power because people are going to be convinced by the reality of the alien presence. In this point, we're still paying taxes, but it's going to gradually be phased out because there's going to be a system of exchange that's not based on money anymore.
System, the financial structure that we have, what will happen to money that we're using now?
It's eventually just going to collapse in on itself. It's not going to be profitable anymore because people are going to stop spending money. The economic system as we know it is just going to gradually collapse. But more importantly, it's just going to be gradually replaced by a more equitable system that's like based on trade and energetic exchange.
So money is going to lose its value.
Yes, exactly.
So because people don't stop buying things.
At a certain point, they don't need to buy things anymore because, they're not going to need to pay for energy anymore because all of the energy is going to be free.
So let's say food, how we can...
Or another thing the hybrid children are helping with is to grow food more sustainably, and so that people can also grow it and produce it on their own and also make it for much cheaper than we're making it now and in much more sustainable ways that are healthier for the earth.
And so let's say other things.
As people raise their consciousness, they're just not going to use them as much anymore. Right now, people buy a lot of stuff that they don't need. Mm-hmm. And as they transition into higher levels of awareness, they realize a lot of the stuff they've been buying they don't really need, or they're just going to make better use, exactly, reusing things and recycling things. And
so they realize we don't need to keep buying clothes.
Right.
Now, I'm very interested in knowing what will happen to real estate market, especially in New York City.
People stopped being willing to pay the high prices. And it was a condition of hybrid children helping that we had to make housing more affordable, or they would not. It was part of the agreement.
Let's say make everything more affordable. So what is going to happen if someone wants to rent an apartment?
You can still, people are still renting apartments, but first of all, they're more affordable, and also prices are lower, but there's also different forms of exchange that you can use to rent an apartment now. It's, you can exchange in money, but you can also exchange in services, or it has to be some type of energetic exchange. So it's kind of based on what you yourself have to offer and what kind of gifts you have. And maybe, if you don't have enough of, cash directly, you can perform tasks, or you can offer. You have to give something back to the collective.
Mm-hmm. So this is it seems very beneficial to everyone. But how you evaluate? Let's say if I do healing, what I can do and say, okay, instead of paying this $2,500 a month rent, how you calculate the service, the healing value?
There's not a direct formula for it. It's by agreement, and it's based on what individuals need. Mm-hmm. So it's about measuring who needs this service and why. And what is it putting out vibrationally into the world? Mm-hmm. And is that a fair exchange for the place that you're living?
I see they're doing this, but they are limited. Let's say purchasing, a condo or a house, that price also will be adjusted.
There's still, at this point, there's still places that are only accepting money and currency. Those places are gradually going to be, they're just going to die out because there's going to be enough other options that, as I said, the monetary money is just going to keep losing its value, and people are going to stop. That's going to stop being the primary mode of exchange.
So when you're talking about this, which year is this? What do you say?
I'm sensing this is about 2029, but as I said, as of right now, there's still places that are still just charging money or currency.
Purchase a property before, and the property worth, let's say, 5 million right now. So let's say 2029 or 2030, 32, that property will, let's say if I want to sell that property, instead of worth 5 million, maybe I can sell for 1 million, but instead I get some, some energies.
And the value is going to keep going down. So yeah, it'll be $1 million or less in terms of what people are willing to pay out of currency. But yeah, you might be that energetic exchange, maybe growing of food or services that are provided.
So it's basically, let's say from right about 2029, the real estate value will come down.
Yes, dramatically.
So I have so many questions. So besides green energy, what is the financial system when money is no longer holds its value like today? Because right now 2024, so it's years, and do you think they work as holding a lot of value, money, assets, so they're going to be very against this new system? So what is it can do, the hybrid children can do?
Well, part of what they're doing is helping us shift our consciousness. So these things only come to be when people reach a certain vibrational frequency. And when people are reaching that level of consciousness, they're becoming more, less fearful, giving, more willing to exchange things at a fair value. They're not in the scarcity mindset anymore where they're just hoarding things. So part of what they're doing is, helping us change the way that we relate to each other.
So to listen some type of ways to accelerate that, or
the Greys have been making updates to the DNA and putting things in the brain structure for a while that are going to continue to activate and hopefully raise the collective consciousness. And the hybrid children are essentially just going to continue to make use of that. What these technologies do is they essentially make you more receptive to different types of information, so they increase your telepathic abilities. They also help you see the interconnectedness of yourself with everything else in the universe when people are opened up to that.
So my question. So let's say integrating or upgrading the DNA. We don't know, and just it happens naturally. Like we feel like, oh, you just better when they're grading.
No, the overwhelming majority of people don't, or they might start noticing that their intuition is stronger or their psychic abilities are getting stronger and they're becoming more aware of their interconnectedness with other people, but they don't realize that updates have been made to them.
There's a social system, or let's say how we interact with each other. What will be the biggest change?
Well, we're going to stop being so selfish. We're going to stop seeing ourselves as separate. We're going to realize that all of us are one and part of the same source energy, and that we're really all in this together. And so there's going to be a greater sense of community, a greater sense of we, a sense of us, rather than just me and what's best for me. It's going to really think about what's best for the community and for the earth as a whole and for all people. And we're going to be able to empathize with each other more openly. Maybe we can use social media as the technologies improve. Social media will become different. Everything's more, the virtual spaces are a bit more open. Just ways of connecting that are digital rather than, you can use the internet, but assimilated spaces will be more common. But people are not necessarily going to stop working. There's still going to be work, but it's going to be much more flexible. It's also going to be, people are going to work the schedules that they want to work. They're not going to feel, pressured to work these particular hours. They're going to have more autonomy over what they do and when, and they have to contribute something. It's not a society where you can just take and not give anything back. But what you contribute is going to be based on your facilities and what you're able to produce.
Some restaurants, they will offer free food, and because they are part of certain programs with the government. What can you talk about?
There's going to be a lot of encouragement from the hybrid children and the Greys to make all of our basic needs. That's going to be one of the conditions for us to join the Interstellar Alliance and the Galactic. It's one of the communities for different alien races that it's different extraterrestrial species from different planets in nearby galaxies that have an alliance. And so in order for us to join, one of the conditions is that, we can't have people homeless, we can't have people starving, but we have to take care of our species. We cannot live the way that we live. So for us to join, everybody has to be fed, everybody has to be housed. So there's going to be a lot of encouragement. There's going to be official government programs that will help. Some of the restaurants who want to participate in these programs will then essentially feed people for free, but they'll some type of other compensation, energetic compensation from these programs. Well, that are part of the Interstellar Alliance, yes. So ultimately, when humans eventually become, that's the goal, is for humans to be able to become part of this alliance. We'll be able to travel. Our technology will get to the point we can travel to these other places. The Pleiadians visit Earth. They're not involved in the hybrid program, but there's other, the Tall Whites, Nordics, they visit Earth now. Well, they'll just visit more openly. We'll be aware of their presence. Right now, they visit primarily in secret.
So we can see them.
Yeah, we'll be able to interact with them.
So we can.
Right, and they also, they're capable of masking themselves as well.
Masking. Grace, let's say that's the majority of the main part of the extraterrestrials over here. But obviously, the hybrid children are playing a big role. But Grace, let's say, they also show up sometimes.
They're here quite often because, The hybrid children are both theirs and ours. So they're what link us together. So they're regularly involved in what's going on here. They have a vested interest in this succeeding.
Right. If they like to show up.
It'll be gradual. First, it'll just be people of a certain vibration. And as we raise our consciousness level, everybody will be seeing them.
What is going to be like interact?
It's going to be gradual. As I said, the communication is telepathic. Another thing they're going to be doing is helping us understand the true history of Earth, how we got here, what our relationship with them is, so we understand our own history better. They're going to be teaching us that we will have physical contact, but the physical contact is going to be limited and it's going to be gradual, because at first the vibrations are going to be very difficult. So when they're in our physical presence, it can be hard for our bodies to take. When we first start meeting them, since they're at a different vibrational frequency than we are, if we're in a physical space with them, it can be really hard for our bodies to take, because it's an incompatible vibration. But we'll adjust and get used to it, but it's going to be little bits at a time that we're exposed to them physically. That's why they have houses, they have like homes that they live in where they're physically separated from us. Not at first, there's still just too big of a difference between where they're vibrating and where humans are, but eventually it'll even out. She's going to be learning about, yes, the true history of Earth, but also how to help individual people expand their psychic and conscious abilities, and how to help them harness their own potential. It's going to involve a lot of very conscious, directed mindfulness, tuning into the body and your inner senses and everything, focusing your attention very clearly on sensations within the body, and learning to quiet the mind so that you can tap into your intuitive potential. Also making regular use of non-ordinary states of consciousness, things like trance, like drumbeat, breath, deep meditation. All of those things help develop those inner skills, dream work, but to be more conscious of your dreams, potential lucid dreaming. Mm-hmm. And also, as there's going to be changes in the DNA, they're going to be naturally opening up. And so it's about learning what to do with that information, or what to do with those abilities and those potentials, and how you can use them to grow spiritually and just situate yourself more empathically in the world.